Chapter 70. Are you being lifted up or pushed down? Who is doing it? Other people around you, or yourself? What's really going on here? A first disclaimer. All characters in this book are fictional. All claims, regardless of topic, are precisely that, claims. Some are rooted in empirical facts, while others are pure fantasy. My aim is to balance vision and reality, fiction and fact, in such a way that readers can recognize themselves and continue building on the swarm of ideas and inventions. The book has no ambition to preach any overarching truth, but instead questions accepted truths. In that way, in the spirit of Socrates, the rest is left to the audience. Freeman hurried over to Walter. What are we going to do now? They agreed to call Joran immediately. He had to join this council meeting. Joran appeared a few minutes later. They found the round table and sat down solemnly, clearly. Something was brewing. It had all begun with Freeman's hysterical alarm. Freeman had become captivated by artificial intelligence, at least to the extent that he followed developments online. He had found disturbing examples showing that producers of AI programs did not care about ethical concerns at all. They were devoted to development and economic competition. Who would reach the imaginary finish line first? Within the core group consisting of Walter, Joran, and Freeman, there was overwhelming consensus in almost every context. Yet that itself was somewhat unsettling. Consensus inside an echo chamber is hardly impressive. Joran noticed this and suggested calling the dean. After all, he was engaged in the Norwegian church, that old-fashioned bulwark against everything new and frightening. Why not listen to what he had to say? A few minutes later, the dean stood at the door. The atmosphere became solemn for a moment, then loosened up, and laughter filled the room. But this was not meant to be a comedy show. Freeman asked everyone to sit around the round table. Then he gave the floor to Walter, who listed a brief agenda. What are we going to do to stop the growth of the cancerous tumor called AI? Freeman spoke first. I firmly believe we cannot stop this troll. What if we fight it instead? Some heard, yes. Why not fight the AI troll? The dean became especially animated. He proclaimed that AI was the devil himself dressed in amusing code. He launched into a passionate speech about how people would be consumed, dragged into the troll's manipulative techniques. He warned strongly against touching this new slick, conformity-shaped digital being. Yes, he continued, we knew it would spread across the world like icing. But Freeman interrupted. We're not there yet. Surely it must be possible to use these innovations in a constructive way. The entire discussion splintered apart. They all went their separate ways, deeply upset and irritated. There was no future to be found here. Then the dean offered an encouraging thought. What if AI is an illusion? What if nature itself is our guide? Everyone around the round table wondered what the dean was getting at. The dean continued, and despite being employed by the Norwegian church, he began preaching naturalism. Not only that, he brought panpsychism into the discussion as well. The whole table was overturned. Everyone was in shock. But the dean went on. Within the Norwegian church, a quiet revolution has been taking place in recent times. Many people inside the church have become secular humanists. Good heavens! This was enormous apostasy from conventional faith, from the exalted ideals people had cherished for centuries. The entire panel had collapsed into confusion. Now they no longer knew which way to turn. Joran suggested sleeping on the issue. And what in the world does any of this have to do with AI? Freeman rose slightly from his flesh, irritated, though he concealed it well. Walter, for once, was completely speechless. The dean stood tall, very tall in his own estimation, and with a victorious, self-satisfied expression. He finally rose from his chair and joined the others hurrying onward. They wanted to forget. They wanted to go home. Freeman woke up the next day totally exhausted. He had suffered recurring nightmares. They were about robots becoming so human-like that they cast doubt on humanity itself. The dean had warned them. He had preached that a great old grandfather sits high above the clouds, governing all things on earth. The dean had actually gained the upper hand the previous evening. Everyone had listened to his opinions, they had seemed plausible. People liked superstition. And so the earth remained in bondage for yet another few thousand years.